Welcome back, everyone, to another Derch Nye video. Now that I did my Sawbar video, I realized that I don't think everyone fully gets the Sawbar. It's a gun that still to this day really hasn't been talked about all that much. I think there's a small crowd that really kind of gets it and loves it, maybe a medium-sized crowd, but I think overall we're missing the Sawbar and not really grasping its full potential, at least not everyone. So it's got a lot of mechanics to it. It's kind of like a flacker, it's kind of like a pimpernel, it's kind of like a lot of things, but it's really fucking cool. So I'm gonna throw some overlays over the video and kind of do my Derch Nye thing and try to break down the Sawbar and explain it. So this first slide, you see my cute little Sawbar over here to the left and just a bullet path coming out of it. So, like all guns, you shoot it out, you have a bullet. The bullet is always fire. The ones I have start off at 201,950, and the bullet just goes straight out. Now, after a set distance, that bullet splits into four. So you have three bullets that come off of it, kind of in a cone shape. Now, each of these are unlisted, and each of these do 100% damage. So, kind of like the Sandhawk or the Becca, the Pimpernel, you have unlisted pellets that do 100% damage. Now, each of these, because they are unlisted, will do full amp damage with the B. Also, because there is a split, the bullets can, with bore, chain reaction, or nth degree, on a hit, they can proc to resplit, causing more additional pellets. And then when you add in the splash damage, they can do reapply that splash damage as well. So as these bullets point out here, at a set distance they will create explosions, and then the bullets actually keep traveling. I didn't show that in the slide here, but they don't stop traveling after that. So the bullets will cause 3 explosions shortly after they split off or on impact. So let's say, for example, that you have a bandit just sitting in that perfect spot right where his head is, where you're going to land all 4 crits. Now this is the best way to do it, but it's very difficult because that's a tiny window you have there. But it's kind of like your creamer window, actually. A creamer with fire pellets in assault rifle form, I guess, without healing. So, not too much like the creamer, but still kind of like the creamer. So, instead of the explosions happening after they hit, they will happen right on his face. So in this case, the bullets keep traveling. I should have drawn the lines all the way. But the bullets keep traveling, and then you get the explosions on his face. Now this is a ton of fucking damage, because you're talking 4 full damage unlisted pellets that are critting and can get amp damage, and 3 massive fire explosions, all on this beautiful bandit's face. Now to take it a step further, let's say I'm playing Maya, as I always do, and I have chain reaction on. Now those bullets can bounce off of him and hit another dude in the face. Well, chances of them critting are low, but I just wanted to blow up their faces because that's kind of fun. So now you're adding all that free damage, and they might even be close enough to be hit by the original splash damage, which I didn't do in this picture because it would have been crowded and hard to see. But here you can see just how much damage potentially you're seeing, landing 6 pellets and 5 explosions. Now, chain reaction, depending on how high you have it, or I guess not depending, but a bullet can always proc chain reaction. So every time a bullet lands, it has a chance to re-proc chain reaction. So let's say one of these guys, you have, a trickster around 80% chance. It's a good chance that bullet's going to bounce back and blow up in that guy's dick. Why his dick? Because it's funny. But now the damage is just going up so damn high with this gun. And you can see it in my last video is how fast things died. I kind of wanted to explain to you guys why they died. I saw someone else doing some videos on this, and they were kind of shooting off to the side, trying to get the splash damage. Now, the splash damage is huge on the Sawbar, but I think people forget that it's got 4 pellets. And if you've got bore, chain reaction, or gauge with nth degree, these pellets can do a shitload of damage. I mean, even Sal, anybody. The pellets are huge. Because pellets can also crit where splash damage can't. And that's what I wanted to kind of explain with this. A lot of people just think it shoots and then you get the explosions. But if you just hit them in the face, chances are you're going to do a shitload more damage. Or at least in the body. So in this next one, I start to go over the math. So, just with Slag and Reaper, with Fire on Flesh, let's look at this. So the gun here, 201,950 damage, times 2 for a crit, divided by 1 plus 20% for the Type C that assault rifles have, times 1.75 for Fire on Flesh, times 1.4 for Reaper, times 3 for Slag, and times 4 for 4 pellets. That's 9,895,550 if you can land a perfect sweet spot. Now going from 201,000 to 9,895,000, that's a massive fucking increase with just Slag and Reaper. And that's because you're multiplying it by 4. I mean, even if you just hit him in a body, you know, 201,000 times 4, and then Fire on Flesh, and then Reaper. I mean, this is huge, even without the crit. And this is an AR, so you have that 1.2 lowering the crit a little bit. So 9 million without the splash. Now let's talk about the splash. The splash damage is based off your gun damage, but it cannot crit. So it's 201,950 again, times 2 for the 200% splash, times 1.75 for the Fire on Flesh bonus again, times 1.4 again for Reaper, because this is the splash against Reaper. Sad day for Krieg and Axton, this does not get grenade bonuses, which means it should not proc Bloodbath either, which is really sad, because Hellborn Krieg, if this got grenade boost and proc Bloodbath, holy fuck. But that's neither here nor there. And then times 3 for Slag, and then times 3 for 3 explosions is 8,905,995. Just less than 4 bullets critting. So depending on how many crits you can do, yes, the splash can do more, but if you hit them in the body with the splash, both, and the splash is big enough to hit them when they hit the body, you will do way more damage. And again, you saw me melting some people incredibly fast in that video. So this math is kind of showing why. And when you start to add in things like Wreck, getting that base damage higher, you know, Mind's Eye if you are landing some crits, your Bone of the Ancients would do this big because that's another special multiplier, or if you throw an amp damage, that's huge. The damage on this thing explodes, and then it goes even further when you put in this an AoE, so multiple enemies are getting hit by the splash, and then chain reaction if you're Maya, or bore if you're 0, or nth degree if you're gauge. So when you add those two together, you get 18,801,545 damage, which again is a buttload of damage, considering this is just Slag, Reaper, and Fire on Flesh, 3 multipliers. Not taking in class mods, boosted skills, other skills, Bone of the Ancients again, Bar, B, all that stuff. This is just one skill, Fire on Flesh, and Slag. And with those 3 bonuses together, your 18,801,545 is 93.1 times the base damage, with putting very little into the gun. This is why the Sawbar is awesome. You can almost multiply it by 100 times with barely anything. if you hit that sweet spot. Now, you're not always hitting that sweet spot, so you're not always going to max out that damage, but I hope this shows the potential of what the gun's damage can do. Now, some of you might be saying, oh, that's not damage cap. Well, cap. Add in the B, add in all your other skills, add in the bone, add in class mods, and all that stuff, and you'll start to see that damage absolutely just fucking skyrocket. And then also think that this thing's got a magazine of around over 100, and you can crank up that fire rate, and you're hitting this kind of stuff, this kind of damage with a massive magazine and a pretty solid fire rate. If you can crank the fire rate up a little bit, that is utterly fucking ridiculous. And that's what makes the Sawbar so goddamn powerful. It's just got so many awesome synergies and so much potential that I thought you guys might enjoy kind of walking through how the gun works. Now, some people have wondered if this thing has penetration, and I've been trying to kind of test it, and it's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes it looks like it does, sometimes it looks like it doesn't. But penetration with bore, if it does have it, would make it even more powerful. So I'll try to play around with that more and try to confirm and see if I can find out if it has that or not. But for the time being, these are the mechanics as far as I understand them for the Sawbar. And hopefully this was clear enough for you guys to understand. I hope. So let me know if this all makes sense to you and what you think of the Sawbar. And if you haven't given it a shot, man, go farm one up, because this thing is legit, even without the buff from Shadow Evil. But like I was saying at the end of the last video I did, it takes a little bit to learn it. Just kind of getting in that range and that sweet spot. But when you really understand this gun and you get used to that sweet spot range, and if you can maintain that range, you know, Maya can do it with all of her crowd control, Axton can do it with his turrets and aggro, Zero can do it with deception, other people can just do it with quasars. It is a beast among beasts. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all later. If you guys have not yet subscribed, I always appreciate it if you do that. If you have not, well, just do it. Also, follow me on Facebook and Twitter if you so choose to, and I will see you all later. Bye.